Hey guys, I just wanted to take a minute to talk to you about some options for creating while you are at home, maybe with some limited supplies. I was following Miss Jamie Young from the Kansas City Mom Collective, and I saw that they have these great printables of eggs where you can print off the egg and add color to it and then hang it in your front-facing windows. And as people walk around the neighborhood, you can show off your eggs that way, and people can even go on a neighborhood Easter egg hunt looking for all of the eggs hanging in the windows. So I printed off this one, and I filled in the flowers with colored pencil because I happen to have some colored pencils here, and I don't have any paint here. So what I did with the light purple and the slightly darker purple there in the background is I used some marker, and we've talked about turning markers into water paints before, but I also learned from Mrs. Connealy at Manchester Park a way to make that go even further. So I wanted to take a minute to kind of remind you of the marker as water paint option and then also show you what I learned from her. So what we've done in the past, or what we have talked about, is where you take markers, not Sharpies or anything that is permanent, but markers that would wash off with water or would slightly, get some of the color out with water. And what we have done is we've taken our paintbrush. This is a piece of rolled up paper towel because I don't have a paintbrush here. And we've taken our paintbrush and gotten it a little wet, and then we've blended the colors, and it makes a darker value and a lighter value of that same color. So that's one option. This paper and this paintbrush doesn't work quite so well with that technique. So what I saw Mrs. Connealy do is this. I saw her color, my aluminum foil is a little bit wet, so it's not sticking as well. I saw her color the marker actually onto some aluminum foil, and then she took her paintbrush. She had an actual paintbrush. I'm going to use my paper towel paintbrush here. She took her paintbrush and she swirled it around on the marker that's on the foil and then used it as paint. What I am going to do, and what I've done down here, is I made like a wet on wet where I took water and painted water onto my paper, because this paper isn't thick like our watercolor paper at school. It's just printer paper that I had for my printer. So I don't want to be too rough with it. So just trying to be a little bit gentle. I put the water on there, and I know that's going to make this water paint go a little bit further, make it go on a little bit easier. So that's another way that you might be able to add color to some of your artwork at home, especially like I had a lot of space to fill in on this background, and as you can see, the paper is still filling in some little spots I missed there. The paper is still a little wet, and it's pretty crinkly. So what I could do with that is I could let this dry, and I could put some books on top of it and let it get a little bit more flat. But it's what I have to work with, and I think it turned out really well considering I don't have an actual paintbrush or actual watercolors. I mean, I used a paper towel and some markers for this. So it was really fun to do, and I want to say a definite thank you to Mrs. Connealy for sharing that extra idea for adding the aluminum foil and swirling your brush or your paper towel around that way. And thank you to the Kansas City Mom Collective for posting these really fun Easter eggs that we can, if you wanted to do that, you could certainly add that in as an option, or you could make your own landscape painting or your own portrait painting or whatever is in your creative mind. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch, and it was really fun to talk to you, and I hope to see you again soon.